crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. Which morning horns is your sip of chaga coffee? I was on X22 report. My friend Dave, basically I gave a summary of where we are as far as taking the good guys and saying, let's go. It's time to get this done. All the stories about the great financial reset, the quantum financial system, all that stuff. You know, obviously we've heard it all before for the last 20 years. Nothing comes of it. Everybody wants to kick the can down the road. We'll find out. It's all about silver now. Silver is the destroyer of banks. So I will put a link to the discussion below this video, or if you guys are X22 followers, go to X22report.com. Dave does great work over there. He got kicked off of all his paid stuff, so he has to have commercials, and he's keeping up the fight, so go check that out. Silver price is being same. It's being held in the range. It's been a while since it's been held in the range. Let's take a look at the, back out a little bit every once in a while. That's where we are. If you go back 20 years, you can see the 2017 all-time high of $50 right around there. 2011. Go back 30 years. That's the funny one. It doesn't show it for some reason on this graph, but hold on. Let's see why it doesn't show it on this graph. 30 years. Oh my God, that's right. It's been more than 30 years since the all-time high. All data. Isn't that scary? So 40 years ago, silver was at its all-time high of $50. 40 years ago. And gold hit its all-time high of $800. It has more than doubled. Silver is one half of its all-time high. And silver is much more important than gold has ever been. There's so many fewer ounces in silver than there is in gold as used in the monetary system. Obviously, silver is consumed 60%, 70%, right around there. Will never come back. And it's blown up in smart bombs. It's in flat screen TVs. It's in solar panels. I don't even... Sorry. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. Anybody who doesn't understand silver manipulation, I highly suggest you spend 5 minutes and figure out what's going on and why silver is, after all the money that's been printed in the last 40 years, why is silver one half of its all-time high? And don't tell me it was the Hunt brothers manipulating silver, because that was only 100 million ounces. JP Morgan has taken over 1 billion ounces off the exchanges of physical silver. 1 billion. So why didn't they bust the Hunt brothers? Because the CFTC and the federal government is in on the rig. That's basically what happened. And then this in 2011 was JP Morgan putting Bill Daley as Obama's chief of staff to run up the price of silver to get the weak hands in, slam it down, create this artificial bear market. We've covered this on the road to Ruta, but that's where we are. Now we're being held in this range. Why this range? Because it was a pretty big deal back here. Let's go back there. And right in here, that's where everything was fought, around the 25 to 30 range. Anything over that is boom time. The next big stop is 50. So right in here, it's all a game. They click a mouse, say, okay, silver, you're going to go to $27.86. Boom. And actually, the programs are programmed at least 6 months out. So they knew the price of silver today 6 months ago. Really interesting. Biden orders federal strategy to curb climate change risk to economy. Now, why would Biden be all freaked out about how this his climate change mandates, which are massively silver intensive? You cannot make that amount of self-driving cars, electric cars, and all that with the amount of silver that's available. You can't make all that photovoltaic energy, solar panels, There's just not the silver available. So Joe Biden has directed the federal government to develop a strategy to curb the risk of climate change on public and private financial assets, which means silver basically. In the U.S., and the White House said on Thursday, the order requires Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, the head of the Financial Stability Oversight Committee, to deliver a report on financial risk data related to climate change. The move is part of the Biden administration's longer-term agenda to cut U.S. greenhouse gas emissions nearly in half by 2030 while curbing the damage climate change poses to all industries. Joe Biden and the lefties have no idea how much silver it would take to do that. And now Biden is saying, okay, Janet, what are we going to do about silver? That's basically what he's saying. Figure out what we're going to do about silver. Do we have to ban it? Do we have to make it illegal? Do we have to buy up all the silver at fair market value? It would be very hard to fix prices in a global economy. Do we have to shut our borders down just to control the silver price? I don't think so. Will the federal government come out and try to ban the private ownership of silver? I doubt it, because not many people own silver right now. A percentage of the economic system, tiny. But will it be in the future? Let's just say silver goes to $10,000 an ounce, which is not unheard of. I mean, I think gold's going to 20. 10, I think, would be a minimum. There's the same amount, according to the official figures, there's the same amount of silver as there is gold, but silver is used up and consumed and eaten by humanity. And in the Green New Deal, there's not enough silver for any of that. So we'll see what Janet Yellen tries to dictate to humanity. And Joe Biden does what he's told. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I would never, ever, ever give up my silver. Ever. If the government says, all right, I'm taking your silver. Okay, come get it. I have 1 ounce. You can have it. I'll hold it out for you on a silver platter. I'll have my silver platter with my 1 ounce and give it to Joe Biden. That's all I have is 1 ounce of silver. Prove otherwise, my friend. So yeah, I don't think that nationalization will be attempted, because we are in a global economy now. That would definitely put the price of silver over $10,000, over $20,000 an ounce, if Joe Biden tries to do that. And I mean, it would basically admitting that the U.S. dollar is a fraud and our monetary system's a fraud, which we already know already. But admitting it's a different thing. All right, so yeah, silver. We got, like I said, nothing's going to happen until mid-June. Mid-June, we got the big delivery month, still at about 750 million ounces. And Jeffrey Christian is all over the airways now trying to explain how, oh, yeah, the hedging is normal. Everybody hedges. Everybody in their right mind hedges silver. And not only do they put on new hedges every day, they're all one-sided hedges. So everybody has to sell short to manage their inventories and manage the price. So there's no price risk. Well, there's the other side of that transaction too. When they get rid of the silver, they have to buy back those hedges. He never talks about that. Jeffrey Christian is a fucking joke. He's a joke. He's a criminal. He's talking about how all the mining companies are hedging. I don't know any mining companies who are hedging. Well, maybe one or two. But nothing compared to the volumes that are going on in the COMEX. 500 million ounces a day traded. It's just, Jeffrey Christian was bought and paid for. And he basically, he did this discussion, an interview, and he tells how he was bought and paid for by the criminal cabal. And he also says that Jay Aaron, who he used to work for, are the ones who determined how much silver and gold were in the ground. So he's been lying to humanity for 40 years. And anybody who believes that there's 200,000 ounces of gold in the world says, I believe everything Jeffrey Christian says. Because he's the guy with his company Jay Aaron and Goldfields Mineral Services who decided that's the amount of gold we're going to tell everybody there is. It's a fraud. There's millions of tons of gold. Not 200,000 tons, millions of tons. And most of it is hidden. And a lot of it is hidden in the ground in the United States. 41% of California is locked up and owned by the federal government. of the gold-rich areas in Southern California. 41%. What are they hiding? Massive amounts of gold at Chocolate Mountain, all over that area. So, do with that information what you will. All right, crypto. We had a little bounce, a lot of green, a lot of coins jumping up 30%, but they're still massively down. It's crazy. This was all orchestrated, but it was orchestrated up too. There's never a moment in any market these days where it's freely traded. The true fair market value can be found. That is not allowed. So this was done by Elon Musk. He played his little bit. Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury, absolutely. Federal Reserve, absolutely. China, absolutely. They did their part. All coordinated to slow down, not stop, but slow down the growth of cryptocurrencies. They need more time. We need more time. We need to kick the can. It's already been 170 years in silver that they've kicked the can. With cryptocurrencies, they've been kicking the can for 11 years. Big deal. Find the right cryptocurrencies. Theta, obviously, is what you should be loading up on with both hands. Where is Theta? $6.39. I was looking at the Theta, how much has been unstaked. Normally when there's a freak out, everybody unstakes their Theta to try to sell it. It's actually going up. The amount of staked is at almost 60 million ounces. And I know one guy who took out unstaked not ounces, tokens. 60% or 600 million. Sorry. There's 1 billion tokens. 600 million are staked. 59 point something. So 60%. I know one guy who pulled out 1.5 million tokens. He owns a vast majority of tokens, 1.5 million. He sent me an email that said, hey, you're going to see the count go down by 1.5 million. Don't worry about it. What I'm doing is I'm swapping them for T-Fuel. I'm playing the ratio. And although the ratio has already come down to like 25 to 1. He said, I'm not selling, but I am withdrawing the 1.5 to get T-Fuel because he was heavily weighted in Theta. Anyway, Theta and T-Fuel, take your pick. Both of them will be the monsters of crypto world. As for Theta, it is required. If we want the internet to work, they're going to have to get everybody on board the Theta train. Now, I don't know if it's individuals running the edge node or they will be implanted in all the electronics automatically. So let's just say that they remember the edge node is software. Let's say Samsung puts out the smart TVs with a software edition of an edge node. And whoever buys the TV gets to automatically free runs their edge node and earns T-Fuel. And shares broadband automatically. They don't even have to think about it. That's what's coming. Everybody on the planet is going to know what Theta and T-Fuel is. And oh, by the way, did I tell you Tom Brady? Is it a long shot? I don't think it's a long shot. But Ed Reardon from the Crypto Viewing Group saw it back in September, said, hey, there's some sports athlete, superstar CEO who's going to stand up and say, buy something. Buy this cryptocurrency. I think it's Tom Brady's company Autograph. I think it is gigantic. We did a Jenny Moonstone session on that I'll be posting. I'm having editing issues right now, but that was one of the topics we discussed. And you'll be blown away by this one. Hopefully I'll get it out by tomorrow or Wednesday. Got a lot going on right now. So, yes, buy your Theta at $6. If you bought Theta at $15, great time to dollar cost average. Buy as much as you can now, and you're going to have your average in price of like $9 or $10 or $15. When Theta is $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, you're not going to care that it dropped from $15 down to $4.50. Well, I think it was at almost $3. Almost the snippy number of $2. So yes, great time to buy Theta. I'd say Theta with both hands, all above and beyond everything else. Because you got a lot of things working for you. It did an ICO. I mean, one of the key things is both the good guys and the bad guys know it has to work. They know it has to work, or there is no cryptocurrencies. Without broadband, there is no cryptocurrencies. Just keep that in mind. Good article on Zero Hedge. In human history, no single asset has come under such coordinated assault by global institutions than cryptocurrencies, than Bitcoin. They are so afraid of it. They haven't banned, well, China's trying to ban it, but they did it before. China banned crypto exchanges before, and what happened? Price of Bitcoin shot up. When governments say shit like that, they know it is the future. They do not want to be left out of the future. The U.S. government will never ban cryptocurrencies, or we will lose. We will be in the dog heaps of history as the most pathetic, short-sighted, controlled country in the history of mankind, where everybody else is moving on to the crypto world. It's time to move on in the United States of America. Gary Gensler belongs in jail. Sorry, Gary. I get who you are. I get what you are doing. But you helped facilitate this latest slam. That's illegal. Under your laws. Under the government's laws, that's illegal. The SEC, what they did to Reggie Middleton, Reggie invented a solution to the insanity of rehypothecation of assets. The repo market is exploding right now. It could never do that under Veritasium. And the SEC took him down in the most pathetic, racist way. And I'm not one who uses the race card. Read that ruling from the SEC, and you're going to say, this is the most racist thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, I do still hold my Veri. I will continue to hold it. If it goes to zero, I won't be sad that I held it. Why? Because it's the right solution to a monster problem. And that monster problem is these criminal bankers rehypothecating assets. So we'll see what happens. And the money laundering, Janet Yellen was coming out and saying, oh yeah, Bitcoin money laundering. Oh my God, how long have we been listening to this bullshit? If Janet Yellen wants to stop money laundering, which I think that would be great, shut down every goddamn bank. Because they are the ones who money launder. Here's some stats for you. Fraudulent activity involving plastic credit cards reached $27 billion in 2018, doubling what they were just 5 years earlier. Why isn't Janet Yellen blocking all credit cards for money laundering, financial crimes? There's a specific type of wire fraud that uses scam emails. According to the FBI, over $25 billion was stolen in a 3-year span using this method. Why isn't the FBI stopping that? I mean, Bitcoin is tiny as far as their money laundering. Hackers once used Swift messaging to steal over $100 million from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Most of the money was never recovered despite being sent through regulated banking system. And it wasn't hackers. It was the bad guys. HSBC, money launderers, everything all the time throughout Mexico. Back when people wrote checks, check fraud was fairly common. There's a great movie starring Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio about this. I forgot the name of that movie. Colonial Pipeline hack involved a ransom of payment of $5 million. The Bitcoin blockchain has been settling over $10 billion a day in the month of May. The ransom represented 0.05% of one day's volume. There's over $2 trillion worth of physical bills in circulation. Harvard professor Ken Rokoff estimates that a third of that cash is involved in drug deals or tax evasion. Why not ban cash? I bet they will. But it's not the cash. It's the banks that are issuing the cash. That's over $600 billion in illicit activity, or the GDP of Switzerland. Now check this out. Blockchain intelligence from Chainalysis estimates that the percentage of Bitcoin that was involved in illicit activity in 2020 was also 1/3, but 1/3 of 1%. That's only $10 billion in cryptos were used for money laundering. We're talking trillions. The UN estimates 1.6 trillion per year is involved in money laundering. 1.6 trillion, and Janet Yellen's worried about 10 billion in Bitcoin. Janet, you need to go to HSBC. You need to go to JP Morgan and stop them, but you won't because you work for them. Bernie Madoff had one banker. One banker on a 50 billion Ponzi scheme. It was actually 500 billion and it wasn't a Ponzi scheme. but it was a fraud nonetheless. One banker. And yes, you were required to know your customer back then. And yes, the board of directors of JP Morgan had to approve those deals. Yes, Jamie Dimon had to sign off on all the Bernie Madoff deals. Why isn't he in jail? One banker. I hope everybody gets this. The UN estimates that 1.6 trillion per year is involved in money laundering, which is more than double the total value of all Bitcoins in existence. So when Janet Yellen will say, "Oh, we got to stop cryptos because of money laundering," tell her to open up her own playbook and look at all the fraudulent banks that she's in charge of that participate in money laundering every single day. And you let them. It's pathetic. And somebody sent me this. Farar Sharad joins Coinbase as Chief Policy Officer. Former Goldman Sachs Global Head of Government Affairs and former White House Deputy National Security Advisor joins Coinbase as Chief Policy Officer. I'd say this says two things. Number one, Goldman Sachs obviously has been in the crypto rigging game for a long time. 3 weeks ago, they said, "Oh, we're going to open our crypto trading desk," and then 2 weeks later, bang, cryptos are thrashed. Goldman Sachs is a criminal institution, just like JP Morgan, just like all the others. The fact that this guy is going to Coinbase should be investigated. Do I think it's a big deal? No. Coinbase is just as big a fraud as any other exchange. They don't own the coins that they say they do. They don't. Maybe I heard they're the best, like 80% of the coins. You can't, the business model doesn't work if you actually take coins that people own and put them in their name. If they own the coins, then they would have a wallet with your specific address on it and always your address. But they don't. They put it into the Coinbase pool and they play fractional reserve cryptos. So I don't care that Farar Zarad is going to Coinbase. What it tells me is, yeah, they're looking to take over every part of it because they know it is going to be a gigantic part of our future. All the idiots that said cryptos are going away in this last run, you guys are freaking idiots, especially the gold and silver guys. There was a couple others. "Oh, it's dead. I know cryptos." And oh, you idiot. You're a freaking idiot. If you knew cryptos, you would have bought in when it was 10 cents. You don't. You don't understand it. Get it through your thick skull. Gold and silver people, if you don't understand cryptos by now, you're missing out on an opportunity of a lifetime still to this day. Or you can listen to Chris Dwayne and never change your mind no matter how much evidence is thrown in the middle of just, here you go. Doesn't matter. I'm just saying. It'll be the crypto people who save gold and silver people from annihilation. When they take their crypto trillions of dollars and say, might as well put 0.001% into silver and blow the silver market sky high. And all the gold and silver bucks will say, "Yeah, I knew I was investing in the right thing." You weren't. Yes, you should own absolutely as much silver as you can get your hands on. But you should own just as much, if not more, and it turns into more, cryptos. The good ones. And do your homework. And get your mind around digital scarcity. It is the future. The blockchain is the future. How the slope regression usually works is, "Oh, I understand blockchain, we need that, but cryptocurrencies, no, can't have that." If you understand blockchain, you understand cryptocurrencies. If you don't, then you have a problem. I'm sorry, you just have a problem. If you can't understand Bitcoin by now, 11 years later, I don't know what to tell you. Hang on to your silver. You'll do well there. It's just, who knows when that's going to happen. I hope it happens tomorrow. Could happen at any moment. They could take their finger off the mouse. That's all it takes. Anyway, I posted the latest Jenny Moonstone readings to them. There's one more to go, probably Wednesday. First one is about Theta going on sale. We did it when Theta was like $4. It's crazy. Yes, Jenny's not concerned at all spiritually. It's a little hiccup. And there's been so many little hiccups. Listen to my discussion with David X22 report. And then we go into the new silver spiritual weapons. Will arrive soon. That's a good one. Go check that out. On the private road, you want to join the private road, hit subscribe today at roadtoruta.com. We will send you one of these, a silver Ruta coin. Coolest coin ever made, each individually numbered. Cave of Gold, Silver Brick Road, a very fancy burlap sack, right to your front door for a 1-year subscription to the Road to Go check it out. It's Bix Weir. I'll talk to you guys later.